and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, the good and people of the show. Hope you're well today, hope you're feeling grand all around your world, and I don't know what that little voice was. Where did it come from? We just don't know. Anyway, hello, we're doing another Q&A Wednesday, everybody. Let's get... My wrist doesn't bend that way, Dave. Let's get to question one, shall we? Okay, so question one today, everybody. Hello there. Oh, and by the way, I hope you did. I hope you enjoyed the. I hope you didn't enjoy. Are you mad? I hope you enjoyed the intro jam. It was a bit. I thought it'd be a bit different, just kind of like. It's always filmed me playing, but it was because of what came out today was so serene and this really kind of peaceful quality. I thought I would just shove the camera in the front window of where I live and of the house and just film the world going by basically and the tree blowing in the wind. It just seemed to work for it. So I hope you don't mind the fact that my ugly face isn't in it. You know, I could wear a mask. Maybe I should just like turn into Buckethead. Buckethead Mark II. The son of Buckethead. Anyway, I don't know, where am I going? I don't know where I'm going, but I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so question one. Losing my mind already. Tangent Boy is on the case. Okay, so question one. What's your opinion on Omar Rodriquez Lopez as a musician, and did you like the EP him and John Frusciante did? As a musician, he's really incredible. Like his guitar playing and his songwriting and his way he does things is really, really cool. Really cool. But I can't say I'm his biggest fan. I do like him, but he's not knocking on the back door of John Frusciante or Jimi Hendrix or Rory Gallagher for me. He's really awesome, really, really cool guitar player, and I like the way, like I say, I like the way he uses, like, I like the effects, the sound he has, and all that kind of stuff. But like I say, he's not. I don't know how to word it. But yeah, he's not, like I say, he's not knocking on the back door of my heroes to be kind of like my next kind of hero, so to say. But I do like his playing and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. But it's a little too erratic for me. And sometimes guitar tone can be a little bit too harsh for me. And that kind of switches me off a little bit to him, if you will. So, but yeah, I do like him as a musician. I think he's really, really cool. But like I say, it's not. He's not going to be replacing any of my heroes anytime soon as like my favourite guitarist. He's really cool though. But I'm not saying he's rubbish in any way, shape or form. I really like his style is his own, and his playing in his own, and his sound is his own. But it's just not really my kind of thing. I did like the Mars Volta a bit, but I do struggle with the Mars Volta sometimes. Some of it's really cool, but I don't know. I do struggle listen to him sometimes. I don't know. It's just something it doesn't like I always say. Music has to do something to me inside, and sometimes their music doesn't. So and obviously because he's in that band, and stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, I do like him as a musician. I think he's really, really cool. I think he's got a really interesting style on the guitar. Really interesting style. Like there's an amazing video of Flea, John Frusciante, and Omar playing like this little jam session. There's just three of them, and his style sits right outside John Frusciante's and Flea's, and they all three of them complement each other really, really nicely, and it's really cool. That jam's amazing. It's so cool, and yeah, so I do like that, but yeah, like I say, other than that, I don't really listen to him that much, if I'm being perfectly honest. So, excuse me. And you also said, did you like the EP him and John Frusciante did? Yes and no. It's one of those things where I listen to it, that's really cool, and then I kind of didn't listen to it again. If that makes any sense. It's one of those things that kind of you hear, that's really cool. And maybe you revisit every now and again when you're in the mood, but I've got to be in the mood for it. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. But, and much in the same way, his guitar playing, I have to be in the mood to listen to him. If I'm not in the mood, then I can't. It just gets on my nerves or drives me mad. Same as people like Bucketheads with his kind of mad shreddy stuff. I have to be in the right frame of mind to be able to listen to it. Otherwise, it'll put me in the wrong frame of mind. If that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that's just nonsense or gibberish, but mind frame. Your mind frame has a lot to do with how you perceive music and how music will affect you on any given day at any given moment, so to say. I think personally, but again, it's all down to personal preference at the end of the day. We're all individuals, and we're all different. So it's like, what will affect you one day won't affect you the other, and so on and so forth. And what affects you won't affect that person down the road, or what affects them won't affect you, and vice versa. I know. Tangents. I can feel the tangents coming on, everybody. Quick, take my pills. Anti-tangent pills. Who wants them? They're no fun. We want the tangents. Don't we, people of the tube? Tangents are fun. It's great to just randomly waffle on like a lunatic. Anyway. Yes, I hope that's answered your question. Anyway, question one. What I think of Omar Rodriquez and the EP him and John Frusciante did. Like I say, I have to be in the mood to hear them. I have to be in the mood to listen to him. But it's sometimes... the erraticness can get on my nerves a little bit sometimes. Much in the same way Josh Klinghoffer's guitar style is erratic and gets on my nerves sometimes. And there's that lack of... It's almost like a lack of serving the song and just doing whatever the hell you want and actually just forgetting about the song and just doing what you want. Like it's a blank canvas, and I don't really like that. I mean, I'm not saying that's what they do, and it probably isn't what they do. It's just the way they play, but it just feels that way sometimes. It's like, you're just doing what you want, and it's not really serving the song. I remember watching, here we go, tangents, here we go. I remember watching a gig of the Chili Peppers when Josh first joined the band, and they did Scar Tissue. The video's gone now, actually, which is quite interesting. They did Scar Tissue. And he didn't do the first solo, much like in the way John didn't sometimes. His second solo was a lot of delay, distortion and reverb mixed into one that made this cacophony of nonsense. I don't mean to sound nasty. I'm not trying to be nasty, but it did sound like nothing. It wasn't a solo. It was just noise. There was notes in there, but it was very indistinct and very kind of inaudible. What's actually going on? And even there was a bit where the camera looked at Flea, and Flea was a bit like, "What's he doing?" Anyway, got to the last solo, and I thought, "Come on, Josh, you're stepping in somebody's big shoes here, and you need to pull it out of the bag." And he didn't. And what he did was he hit one note. He must have turned on a distortion pedal. At that point, it probably been a DS1. I think he had a DS1 at that point. He kicked on a distortion pedal and a delay and a reverb again. There was loads of reverb. It was like a massive hall reverb. And then he was playing like non-distinct notes, and some of them were out of key. Like some of them were like really atonal notes, like really glaringly wrong notes for the key. And they didn't have any melody. They didn't have any flow. They were just erratic noise. And towards the end of the solo, he just threw the guitar behind his back and was just playing with his delay pedal, and he's doing that. And the band kind of looked at him as if to say, "Okay, what are you doing?" Which makes me think, personally, because these days Josh has calmed down a lot. His solos are a lot more... they've started to get a bit more flow and a bit more melody to them. I just wonder if they did have a word with him saying, "Can you not do that, please?" Because that's totally against what we are as a band. And it's totally against that song. You're not serving a song, you're serving some other kind of thing there, just because you're messing around with... you need to serve the song. And if that requires you to do the melodic, singy guitar solo, you do that. You can't really be doing... It's like if you covered Stairway to Heaven and did an entirely different guitar solo to what everybody knows, and you started it like really high, people are like, "What the hell is this?" Yeah, you can't do that kind of thing. You've got to serve the song. You've got to respect the song of what it is and what people want to hear. And Scar Tissue is one of those songs that just has always been one of those really lovely melodic songs, and you've got to really respect that kind of thing. And I don't feel he was But you know, again, this is all my own opinion, everybody. So you know, don't hurt me. But yeah, I mean, and I still don't really like Josh as a guitar player personally. I love his drumming, and I love his singing, and I love his songwriting, but I don't like his guitar playing. He's much in the same way as Omar, but I prefer Omar Rodriguez's guitar playing because there's certain cool things he does that I really like. I go, oh, that's really cool. I like that. But anyway, it's just turning into a like comparing Josh Klingenhofer video, and I'm not, you know, that's another video for another day. But yeah. Anyway, let's Tangent Boy is in effect. Yeah! Fly! Anyway, yeah, so I hope that's answered your question, and I hope that tangent did something. I don't know. I don't know what. Anyway, question 2, everybody. Question 2. Okay, so question 2 is, what cab would you recommend for someone on a limited budget? I think I've answered this question before, but the 2 cabs I would recommend are either the Marshall JSM 900, angled, or B cab, this one or that one. You can normally pick them up. I bought that one. The B cab was 150 quid and the A cab was 100 quid. And I've seen them for about 150 to 180 these days. So they're really cheap. So about £180 to £150, depending on condition and you know what's going on with them. But I've never seen them over 200 quid. So I would recommend highly the JSM 900 cabs. They're my favourite cabs of all time. These 2 cabs here, I don't think I'll ever get... I know I will never get rid of these 2 cabs as long as I live. I've got... and I'll get to that in a minute. What I was about to say. But yeah, these 2 cabs are my favourite 2 cabs in the world. They sound immense and I love them to bits. Another cab, if you're on an even tighter budget... I don't know what that was... would be the old Marshall MG cabs. Not the new ones. The new ones are diabolical and they're horrific sounding and they just sound harsh and nasty and just like bees in a box. But the old Marshall, they're like in a 410 enclosure. They're really tiny. Excuse me. Much in the same way this orange cab here is. That cab there, sorry, that's the head. They're compact, but they are 412-inch speakers. They're not 410s, but they're in a 410 box. I'm eating my own hair. Gross. But I would recommend the old Marshall MG cabs. They're amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the way you can tell they're old is if on the serial number, the first 4 digits of the serial number will be the date they're made. So anywhere from 2003, 2004, 2005, they're the ones you want. And you can normally get them for like 80 quid. Here. You know, if you can find them. But they are cheap. Or 60 quid. I've seen one recently that I might have to buy for 60 quid. Just because. But yeah, they're cheap. So I'd recommend either one of them. So the Marshall JSM 900 cab, either B or A. You can't really go wrong with either. The B's got more low end. The B's a bit fatter sounding. The A's got more kind of high end. It is a bit tighter on sounding on the sound. It's a little bit more kind of like, you know, together. The B cab is a bit more kind of sag in the sound and a little bit more kind of looseness, so to say. Or the Marshall MG, the old cabs. They're just totally black. They don't have any kind of white piping. And like I say, you can tell what year they are by the first 4 digits on the serial number sticker. And if they don't have that, then darn. Because they have come across Marshall MG stuff before. Well, I haven't known what year it is. But normal, especially cabs, and you can kind of like be like, ugh. Heads, not so much. You can tell the year of heads judging by the fan grille and also the kind of layout of the dials. But yeah, that would be my 2 suggestions for cabs on a budget, because these cabs are amazing and the old Marshall MG cabs are absolutely insane. They've got MG 65 watt Celestians in them. I think they're a 120 watt cab. These are a 300 watt cabs. But the Marshall MG, I think, is 120? I think. 120 watt cab, I think. And it's 8 ohm cab, I think. But yeah, amazing cab. So that would be my 2 recommendations, personally. People love a tube. And there's also stuff like... I was going to say something, but I can't remember what it was. Jet City do cabs, but not 412s. But that would be my choice. The Marshall MG and the Marshall J7900s. Personally, that'd be what I would recommend to people, and that's what I always recommend to people myself, because I love them. Because I love them. I don't get the point where some people sometimes recommend something they don't like. I don't understand that. I've seen that a few times. I'm like, but you don't like it. Why would you recommend it to me? Fishy. Anyway, yes. Hope that's answered a question. Gonna move on to question 3 now. So, question 3 is: do you like Greta Van Fleet, and how do you feel about modern guitarists? I don't like Greta Van Fleet, no, because they just sound like a Led Zeppelin tribute band. Like, they sound exactly like Led Zeppelin, and if I wanted to listen to Led Zeppelin, I'll just listen to Led Zeppelin. Again, this is only my own opinion. I just feel it's just kind of like, it's just a little, there's been inspired by a band, and then there's ripping off a band. Sound, feel, look, and all. And I don't get it, personally, and I don't understand why you'd want to combine other things than just that one thing, because Led Zeppelin were a combination of all sorts. Now, you had folk, you had rock, you had blues, you had heavy rock, you had all sorts, all sorts of stuff. Whereas Greta Van Fleet are just them. It's just that kind of like that Led Zeppelin 1976 era, I reckon. 74, 76 kind of era of Led Zeppelin, isn't it? And I just don't like them. They don't sit well with me at all. I'm not sure what it is I don't particularly like. Apart from it does sound like a Led Zeppelin tribute. Like I said, I'm only speaking from my opinion. I'm not saying they're terrible, because they're certainly not. They can definitely play, and they can, they're good at what they do. They're brilliant at what they do. But for me, they don't do anything for me. I wouldn't listen to them over Led Zeppelin. I wouldn't listen to them over anybody else. So yeah, I'm not really a fan. I can't say I'm a fan. I can't say I don't follow them. I'm not really interested by them at all, to be honest with you. I have tried to like them, because a lot of people have been saying, oh, you need to check out this band, they're really cool, the guitar led and this, that, and the other. But I can't. They don't do anything. Their music does absolutely nothing for me. It's just bounces off. It just bounces off. And like I said earlier on with the Omar Rodriquez thing, it's music has to, it has to affect me in some way, emotionally or physically or whatever. It has to go inside me to actually do something. And when music doesn't, I tune out, because it's not. And I will try. I will give anything a chance. But if it doesn't work for me, then I'm not going to listen to it. And that's just the way it is. And it's not being closed-minded. At the end of the day, you like what you like, and it's up to you to, kind of do what you want. People can't turn around and say, well, you're wrong, if you don't like something. It's like, well, no, I'm not. I'm right, because I don't like it. I know what. It's like if somebody says, if you like ham sandwiches, and somebody says you're wrong for liking ham sandwiches. It's like, well, how do you figure that? What? Because you don't like it, I'm not allowed to like it. It doesn't make any sense. But sorry, I've done it again. I'm gonna get a little kind of costume for Q&A Wednesdays, everybody, a little Tangent Boy costume that I can just kind of wear all the time, just to warn everybody that it will happen. Not that it might happen, it definitely will happen. But yeah, like I say, Greta Van Fleet, their music doesn't do anything for me. It really doesn't. There's just nothing there that appeals to me. It's just not. It doesn't do it. It's not like it just doesn't do it. Yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. I just can't get into it. And I have tried. I promise you, I have tried. I've listened to quite a bit of their music. But it's just it's just, and I'm just you just sound like Led Zeppelin, lads. And I would just listen to Led Zeppelin. That might sound really strange, but that's what I would do. It's oddly enough, actually, when I did listen to Greta Van Fleet, the last time I listened to it, I thought, right, I watched a rig rundown on them, and I thought, right, I'm going to give them another chance. So I went and listened to a couple more of their songs, and I was like, I can't do this. And it just wasn't doing anything for me, and I was just zoning out, and I was just doing other things. It wasn't doing anything for me, so I just eventually just kind of zoned out, and then I thought, you know what, put Led Zeppelin on, and I just put Led Zeppelin on, and I was like, yeah, and I enjoyed it. So it's like, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I'm not slagging them off. I'm not calling them rubbish. It's just that for me personally, I don't like them. They don't do anything for me in any way, and because of that, I can't get into them because of that. I can't, if I can't feel it, I can't feel it, and that's just, you know, just the way it is. Same thing with all sorts of music. It's like, you know, even some of my favourite artists have released music where I'm like, I'm not getting that. I'm sorry, I don't feel it. So, you know, and if I can't feel it, I don't like it. I mean, from analysing music, you can kind of go, that's really clever, that's really cool. I like how you done that, I like you doing this. Yeah. But if it doesn't affect you, or if it doesn't affect me, it doesn't really do much for me, then I won't listen to it again. It's just one of those things. It's like I don't know. I just that's all I can say really. I mean, at the end of the day, if you love Greta Van Fleet, that's cool. It doesn't matter what I think to them. At the end of the day, if you love them, that's wicked. You know, but and that's the way it should be with anything really in life. If you love it, forget what anybody else says. Unless, obviously, there's certain things on top of that. If you're hurting people or you're doing something else like that, you know, just because you love something doesn't mean it's right sometimes. But only sometimes. You know, not all the time. There are occasions, and this is one of them. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that nobody should, kind of thing. You know, and it's the same way with guitars and stuff like that. It's like, you know, like I said, I got thrown out of bands because I love solid state amps. I got thrown out of bands because I love single coil pickups. I got thrown out of bands because I like Zoom pedals and stuff like that. And it's like, just because the people I was in bands with either liked valve amps or humbuckers or whatever, it's like, just because you like it doesn't mean I have to use it just because you say so. It's like, we're all individual. We all like our own things, and we're all free to do that to an extent. You know why? So why would you try and get in the way of somebody's freedom of what they want, what they like, and what they enjoy? You know, it's really weird. But anyway, but yeah, that's my opinion on Greta Van Fleet. They're a great band. They sound great. They've got that sound down to a T. But for me, it's just not for me. Okay, so you also asked, how do I feel about modern guitarists? I don't know which way to go with that one, because I don't really listen to many modern guitarists. Modern guitarists I listen to, I want to say people like Matt Bellamy, but Matt Bellamy's not really modern anymore because, you know, because Muse have been around forever. So yeah, I went first when Muse came out. So dating myself, but I remember when Muse first came out and stuff, like I think it was like in like late 90s. But or was it the 2000s? I don't remember. But like, yeah, modern guitarists. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. Because a lot of the guitarists I watch on YouTube are people like Pete Thorne and like I watch kind of like, you know, Anderson's videos with Rob Chappers and the Captain and all that kind of stuff. And but again, it's like, you know, these guitarists, although they're around now, are not really. I don't know. The word modern in that is kind of like throwing me for a bit of a loop. I don't really know how to answer that question if I'm being perfectly honest, because a lot of the guitarists I listen to are very inspired by older guitarists, like, you know, like Phil X and Pete Thorne have a very kind of Van Halen, AC/DC classic rock feel to their playing, and people like Rob Chappers have that kind of like, you know, that kind of almost 80s shred thing going on, and that kind of metal-y kind of thing going on. And people like, you know, like the Captain. I love Lee Anderton's playing. I think his playing's brilliant. It's really tasteful, bluesy playing. It's really nice. But again, they're all influenced by older guitarists. So can they be classed as modern? I mean, the word modern, I would say, is kind of guitarists who are kind of like playing, who've come up now, who doing certain things. I don't know. I'm getting a bit confused by the term. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to answer that. I'm sorry. That's not really a very good answer, is it? But it's kind of confusing me. I didn't think when I wrote it down, I thought I know how to answer that. But now I'm here, I don't actually know how to answer it. I'm a bit confuzzled by it, to be fair. How do I feel about modern guitarists? I mean, I don't really have any feelings either way, because people are going to do what, if guitarists do what they kind of do, it kind of comes back to the Greta Van Fleet thing again, of at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do, and that's cool. I'll be over here doing what I do, you go over there and do what you do, and, that's what that is. But, one thing I will say is I don't like I don't know. I don't like the head down, blank face, guitar like that, shredding thing. But that's me, because I like to be able to I like that kind of feel thing more than technical ability. Technical ability actually doesn't actually impress me. Maybe that's the wrong word. Technical ability impresses everyone, but it doesn't. Again, such as the same way Greta Van Fleet, it doesn't do anything for me. It's like what Paul Gilbert said. He says he finds a lot more gratitude out of playing one note than like 100, because you can say so much more with it. I don't know, it's a difficult one, that. Can you tell I'm struggling, everybody? I ain't going off into a tangent, I don't think. But yeah, what would I think of modern guitarists? I mean, I don't know. They are what they are, and these what it is. At the end of the day, I suppose. I don't know. A lot. I mean, I'm a very kind of. I suppose that you could call me set in my ways kind of way, in a way. Because the guitarists I listen to mainly are like, as John Frusciante, Jimi Hendrix, Roy Gallagher, Peter Green, and all sorts. So, but they're all kind of like older guitarists. They're not modern. But again, modern, does that mean guitarists that are around now? Or new guitarists doing different things with the guitar? Or does that modern mean that, Dave Gilmour's still about, so is he classed as still modern? I'm getting. I don't know. I'm confuzzled, everybody. I'm really confuzzled by that question. Actually, I thought I had an answer for it, and I actually don't have an answer for it. I'm struggling on the way through. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the. When people play the guitar with a blank face, I'm like, are you enjoying it or are you not? I mean, it's cool sometimes. You can kind of, sometimes it takes you to that place where you do go blank. I don't know. But when you're just going through the motions of doing things, you can tell. Have you ever had that where you watch a guitarist or an actor or a painter who's not invested in what they're doing? They totally don't care. They're just zoned out from it altogether. They're just not interested in it at all. You can tell, and you pick up on that vibe because it's in their body language. It's not. You can't disguise it. A good example of that would be John Frusciante on Saturday Night Live doing Under the Bridge. You can tell he doesn't want to do it. He can't be bothered. He doesn't want to be there, and he's had enough. You can tell he just cannot be bothered, and the way he plays and the way he sings says it all. And you can pick up on his body language because he's hunched over and he's looking through the top of his eyes like that. And he looks angry and really, really narky and just not happy at all. And that's his body language. You can pick up on that. You can also pick up on Anthony at the end of the video, how his aggression towards John, how his annoyance at John comes across. You can see it in his body language, the way he goes and stands over Flea and just looks at him. And it's just, you know, and it's like what Chad Smith said in interviews about John Frusciante. It's like he was up there like he just didn't care. And he didn't care. And I feel that, you know, you can get that vibe sometimes from people. It's like, you know, they're just going through the motions. And it's like, you're allowed to enjoy it. You're allowed to, you know, you're allowed to just kind of release control. You know, I don't know if it's a coolness thing, like I need to look cool. It doesn't look cool, I don't think, personally. I love guitarists like Paul Gilbert or Jimi Hendrix. When they're playing, they're like that, because I think it's cool. Yeah, because it shows they're absolutely invested in everything they do. That every note is everything, and I love that. But yeah, I suppose this isn't really a tangent. I was about to say this is a tangent, but it's not really. It's kind of like in line with what I was talking about. But yeah, you're allowed to enjoy playing guitar, and you're allowed to look silly, and you're allowed to make stupid faces, and you're allowed to look like a bit of a fool. Because, you know, that's what music is. It's relinquishing control over yourself and just releasing yourself to the music. And if that makes you pull for stupid faces or gets you into stupid positions or whatever, you know, then that's what it'll be. If that's what it takes to get across what the song has to say, then that's what it takes. You know, regardless of if you look like an idiot or whatnot. I mean, like I say, you look at Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock and he's got his head back and he's like that. Just his face is just everything he's doing. He's just invested in everything he does. The sound, the band, the music, everything. The guitar, you know. So that's one thing I don't like about modern guitar scene. I see a lot of it on Instagram, where it's like there's, like I say, it's just running, just going through the motions. And you can, like I say, you can pick up on people's body language, and you can also pick up on the feel of the piece of music they're playing, and also their sound. If it's just technical playing, even if it's slow blues stuff and it's just technical playing, you'll know. But if it's somebody who's totally invested in every note, everything to make that piece of music the best it can be, you'll feel it immediately. You'll feel it, and you'll know when it's not there. You'll know when somebody doesn't care. And I feel that there's a lot of kind of like, you know, look at me, look at me, look at me, you know, I can do this, I can do that. And it's like, that's not what it's about. Like, I don't care what you can do. It's about what you want to say with what you can do. You know, what's making, what makes that piece of music you're playing great. It's not your technical ability, it's about what you're trying to say. You know, because technical ability is, like, it's always one of those things where you kind of like, well, to me, it's always kind of like, you know, oh, that's brilliant. And then after about 3 songs of shredding, your brain starts to zone out, because it's the same thing, and it just kind of gets a bit dreary. And just I'm not invested in this anymore. And I remember going, but no, I'm not going to talk about that. It's waffling, guys. It's not relevant at all. But I stopped Tangent Boy then, everybody. But it wasn't relevant. But yeah, modern guitarist. I don't know. It's a bit of a strange term. I don't really understand. And honestly, what kind of like you mean modern. Because there's still a lot of guitarists. There's like Robin Trower. There's Jeff Beck. There's Eric Clapton, although he's retiring. There's Pete Townsend. There's all these guitarists who are still about. But would you class them as modern? Because they're still about, or would you class them as not? I don't know. You know, what's modern and what isn't modern? That's difficult to answer. Anyway, I'm gonna have to move on, because I could be sat here talking for hours on that. But I hope I answered your question on the Greta Van Fleet thing, and I hope I've kind of like waffled on a little bit for how do I feel about modern guitarists. I hope I'm not trying to upset anybody or offend anybody. I can only speak from my opinions on what I think to things, and like I say, it's certain things. I don't like the knee up, that thing. It doesn't interest me in the slightest. It's feel it, move, stand up, rock out. Go mad, pull faces, get into weird positions, go nuts. You know, it's great fun. Release control of your body and your face and everything. Release yourself to music. It's a lot more fun. Okay, so, and plus technicality can get in the way of that, releasing, because if you're constantly analysing everything you're playing, then you're never going to experience that kind of unconscious thought of just playing music. You know, you're always going to be playing scales because you're going to think that way, and you're always going to be playing theory. Whereas if you release that thing, the world expands, and you can just do what you want, because all of a sudden you're like, oh, this note doesn't work over that chord because it's not in key. It's like, well, try it anyway. You never know. But like I say, if you get trapped by theory, which is very possible, it can numb that a bit. So anyway, I'm gonna have to move on, everybody. So I hope I answered your question. Moving on to question 4 now. Question 4. I recently got a CL120, but I only have a Fender FM 4x12 100-watt cab. That's 4 ohms. Can I use them together on a low volume, or is it better not to? One sec. I don't actually know what the CL120 says anymore. No, you can't. The minimum impedance on the CL120 is 8 ohms. So, I mean, you could probably get away with it, but I don't know if I'd want to, if that makes any sense. Like, you could, at low volumes, you probably wouldn't do any harm to the amp, but I would maybe look for an 8 ohm or a 16 ohm cab. I would personally recommend 16 ohm. The CL120 sounds amazing at 16 ohm. Saying that, I always run heads at 16 ohm. There's just something really, really cool. I love the sound of 16 ohm. It does lower the volume, lower the power of the amp sometimes, but it's got a depth that 8 ohm and 4 ohm doesn't have. 4 ohm's quite bright, 8 ohm's kind of in the middle, and 16 ohm's really fat and warm and just luscious, and I love it. But I wouldn't recommend it yet, but you probably would be okay. But I don't know, personally. It's hard to say. Yeah. One sec. Okay. Just had a bit of a think about that last question. The whole ohm thing is a absolute minefield. You know, can you run 8 ohm into 4 ohm? Can you run 4 ohm into 16? Whatever. It's a bit of a minefield, and it gets a bit confuzzling. At the end of the day, if your Fender cab is 100 watt at 4 ohm, and the minimum thing on the orange is an 8. I personally wouldn't do it. I mean, it like I said, it'd probably be okay. It'd probably be totally fine, but I don't know if I would want to risk it. But like I say, on low volume, it probably wouldn't do any damage. But there's always a but. I don't know. I can't say, because you hear all the time of people mismatching. I got there in the end. Kind of ohms and certain stuff like that. And getting away with it and saying, it's never caused any damage to my amp, it's been totally fine. But because the CL120 is solid state, it should be a bit more versatile on that front. Valve amps are not so much. They have to have what they are. That's hence the selector on the back, 4, 8 and 16. They have to see the ohm of the cab. It's better to match them than it is to mismatch them. Solid state you can kind of get away with more because they're a bit more forgiving on that front, definitely. But I mean, it comes down to really is like, do you want to take the risk? Do you want to try it, see what happens? You never know. It might just work. It might just be brilliant. I have run this at 4 ohms. I've run the CL120 at 4 ohms through this cab before, and it sounded good. It sounded a little bit too bright for my liking. I didn't like it. It was a bit. It didn't sound tinny. It still sounded really full and fat, but it was a bit too bright. I like the darker 16 ohm, which is actually above the 8. But the minimum on the CL120 it says on the back is 8 ohm. So it's like, I don't know what the compact cab is. I don't know. But I say, at the end of the day, it's down to do you want to take a risk, or do you want to just kind of play it safe and try and look for an 8 ohm cab or a 16 ohm cab? I've probably got it wrong as well. It's probably like 4 and 8 are perfectly fine for the CL120 and 16's not. But if that's the case, then I've been running my CL120 at 16 ohms since I got it. So it's like, I don't know. And also the Marshall MGs, they're a 4 ohm, aren't they? The Marshall MGs, these are a 4. I think they're a 4 ohm. One sec, everybody. Oh, I can check on this one. Haha, I'm sat on one. Yes, they are. So is that the minimum? Yeah, so the minimum impedance of the Marshall MG is 4 ohm, but I run them at 16. And I feel a bit wonky now. But, because I just like prefer the sound. But again, it is just like, you will hear people say, oh, it doesn't do any harm. And then you'll hear people say, it destroys your amplifier. So it's kind of hard to actually say what is right and what isn't. Because you always get the manufacturer saying, don't do this. But their angle is, because you need to buy this cab from us. So, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really, really difficult to say. What I would say is try it and just see how it goes. But if you don't want to take that risk, then look for another cab. I don't know if I would take that risk, given the situation. I don't know. It's a 100-watt cab, so it would be fine to handle the power of a CL120, and it would lower the power anyway. Would it lower the power being 4? Ohm is just like an absolute nightmare to try and figure out sometimes. It's an absolute convoluted mess, I find. I find it really hard to understand ohm, so I tend to just run everything at 16 ohm and just be happy. Excuse me. I would just say try it for a few days and just keep it at a low volume. I mean, I don't know if I'd run it above 2, just to be on the safe side. 3 probably max. It's you don't want to overload anything. That's the problem. I mean, the cab will probably be totally fine, but the amp, I don't know if it will send it funny, because you don't want to damage it. No, I'm going to say personally, I'll look for an 8 ohm or a 16 ohm cab myself. Personally, if I was going to recommend you do anything, I would recommend getting a different cab with matching ohm, like 18 or 8 or 6 or 18 ohm amp, 8 or 6, 16. Crikey. Just to be on the safe side, because like I say, there are some people who say it's fine, some people who say it's not, and it's hard to judge. You got to kind of judge it from your own experience. But if you're not willing to take that chance, and I don't think I would be willing to take a chance personally, I would just look for another cab, like I say, with an 8 ohm or a 16 ohm. These JCM 900s are awesome for that because they're selectable. You can run them in 8 ohm stereo, so you can have 8 ohm, so you run them split, or you can have them 16 ohm mono or 4 ohm mono. So you've got the choice of all 3, so you're never going to worry about them. Because they're 75 watt speakers, you can run them as a 212, and you know everything. Or the world is a happy place. So that's another reason why I love these cabinets, is the ability to run one as stereo, which is just immense. I love these cabs. Anyway, but yeah, I would say maybe look for another cab, but I don't know. It's a bit of a minefield, that one. Yeah, I would just say look for another cab personally. Look for one, like I say, with an 8 ohm or a 16 ohm output, just to be on the safe side. You don't want to knacker your new amp up, especially if you just bought a CL120. You don't want it ruining straight off the bat just because the ohms are mismatched. So that's what I would recommend. People of the tube, what would you say to this question? If you've got a 4 ohm 100 watt cab and the CL120 is an 8 ohm minimum, what would you do? People of the tube, leave a comment in the comment section below, and let's try and help this fellow out. Okay, so I hope that's answered your question. We'll move on to question 5 now. Question 5. How does John Frusciante get the guitar tone he has in Murderers? And have you played any other instrument other than the guitar? Okay, so the guitar tone in Murderers sounds to me like he's Jaguar. And I heard tell a tale that John, for that entire album, was using a Line 6 pod to get guitar tones, because he wanted it really lo-fi sounding. So it sounds to me like he's Jag. And it sounds like it's both pickups on. So neck and bridge pickup on. Maybe even with the high pass filter in. The third switch, because on a Jaguar you got one switch there, which is the neck, one switch in the middle, which is the bridge, and then you got a high pass filter on the right as you're looking down on the guitar. If you're looking at the guitar, it's on the left, the far left switch on the bottom. I'm not sure if that would be in or not. We'll never know 100%. But it sounds to me, it sounds to me like it's a Jaguar. It's just got that plinky sound of a Jaguar. So I think I would personally say I reckon it's his Fiesta Red Jag, myself. But I could be totally wrong. If you're using a Strat, you mentioned like you can get a pretty good approximation, just like really really clean on in at one of the position either 2 or 4 out of phase on a Strat. Yeah, I would say they're your best bets if you don't have a Jag, because it kind of replicates that. But it does. It sounds like both pickups on to me. On his Jaguar, it doesn't sound like a Strat. I don't know if he even had a Strat at that point when he recorded to Record Water. It just sounds like his Jaguar. It's got a real distinctive Jaguar-esque kind of tone to it. That again, I could be totally wrong, and we'll never know for 100% sure. But in my opinion, it's the Jaguar. It's that Fiesta Red Jag. Run for a Line 6 pod, and it sounds like a pod. There's just something in the sound of that album that you can just like go, right, it definitely sounds like a pod. And I love pods, and I really want one because they've got a real cool sound about them that I really really like. And I go and record with my friend a few times, every now and again. We go and record there, and we don't use amplifiers, we just use his Line 6 pod, and it's always great fun. You can get some amazing sounds out of them. They're so cool. Another friend of mine, he recorded an entire album using one as well, and it sounds immense. So, really cool. But yeah, I would say it's a Jaguar. I wouldn't say it's a Strat. I wouldn't say it's a Telecaster. But again, I could be totally wrong. It all depends on what he was using that day. But it sounds to me like it's his Jaguar. It just has a certain quality that just reeks to me of a Fender Jaguar, especially an old vintage one, especially like John's. And if you listen to John using that Jag live, you can kind of hear it. Even because he's only on the bridge pickup, mainly for Around the World, you can kind of hear there's that tonality in there. It's weird. But yeah, I would say it's his Jaguar. Excuse me. And you also asked, have you played any other instrument other than the guitar? Yeah, I've played a lot of instruments. I can play a few instruments. I'm not brilliant at any of them. The guitar is my best friend and always will be. But I can play mandolin. I can play bass. Kind of. I'm actually going to do... I bought a Harley Benton bass, everybody, and you'll see a review on that soon. You're going to get to laugh at my amazing bass playing. Ah! Bass players of the world would just be like, really? Because I'm a terrible bass player. But I wanted one to record, and I'll talk about why at the end of the vid. But yeah, I love playing bass. I absolutely adore to play bass. It's really good fun. I can play piano a bit. I can play mandolin a bit. I can play bass a bit. Play banjo a bit. I don't think there's any other instruments I can play. I don't think there is. I think that's about it. This nut's moving. I'm going to have to glue it in again. It's come away. Which is why I keep playing with it. Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of other instruments I like playing. I do like playing mandolin. I do like playing... I like to play the banjo, but I hate the banjo at the same time because it's incredibly hard and difficult, and I just can't do it. And you just see some people on the banjo, you're like, how are you doing that? That's not even human. You must be a robot. All banjo players are robots. It's a conspiracy, I'm telling you. Anyway. This conspiracy brought to you by Dave Simpson, 2018. Anyway. Yeah, I love playing other instruments. I like just messing around with things. I remember I was trying to play a saxophone. That was hysterical. I don't think my lung capacity is very good for saxophone. It was a bit... It sounded like a dying whale. A dying whale on helium is what it sounded like when I tried to play a saxophone. We found it, actually. It was an old hat. We found this old saxophone. We got it out and we were all trying to play it. And it was just hysterically bad. Joe was actually kind of got pretty good, like some pretty good notes out of it. I was just like, it was just terrible, absolutely terrible. I've tried to play bagpipes before. My dad plays bagpipes, and I've tried to play accordion, and I can't do that. My dad plays accordion and tin whistle and harmonica and stuff like that. But yeah, guitar's my friend. It's like, I do like playing other instruments, but guitar is always my go-to thing. But I do like playing other things. It's good fun. It's a good laugh to kind of play, to jump in and swim with an instrument you have no idea what you're doing with. It's great. It's an absolute hysterical thing to do. And I would recommend it to anybody. If somebody's got an instrument you can't play, have a go. You never know. And if nothing, it's going to be fun. Never feel embarrassed by it. It's just a laugh at the end of the day. It's just a good chuckle. So, yeah. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Like I said, the guitar John used for Murderers, I think, is his Jaguar. It sounds like a Jaguar to me. It's got all the hallmarks of a Jaguar. But again, could be totally wrong. I don't know. We'll never know. But in my opinion, it's a Jag. And yeah, play a couple of other instruments. So I hope that's answered your question. I just answered it again there and like very, very quickly. And I don't know why, but videos would be boring if that happened. Anyway, question 6. Or would they? I don't know. Anyway, question 6. Final question of the day, really. Do you think John Frusciante still has all his gear, like his 1962 Strat, his Silver Jubilees, Marshall Majors, pedals, etc.? Yeah, I do. I mean, I would be very surprised if he didn't. I bet any money he doesn't have as much stuff as he used to have guitar-wise, like big pedal boards and the like. But I bet he still has his 62 hanging around. I bet he still has his 55 and his White Falcon and his Tele Custom and his Silver Jubilees and his Majors. And some pedals like the Ibanez Wire and the DS2 and stuff. But does he use them? Well, we don't know. But because John had quite a big collection of guitars. Not huge, not massive, but he had some really cool guitars. And I find it hard to believe just because he doesn't play guitar at this point in time, he would have sold them or got rid of them. But saying that, Johnny's an odd character, and he could have just literally gone, I don't need these anymore. But I think the 62 Strat is so iconic a guitar that if he had sold it, we would have heard something by now. A collector would own that guitar by now. Unless... I don't know, There is a doubt in my mind that he might have sold stuff. The 62 Strat, though, I find it hard to believe. And his Jag, his red Jag and his 55 Strat and his Tele, which are kind of like his mainstays, I find it hard to believe he would have got rid of them. But you never know. Like I say, like he said, he's not really playing guitar as much anymore, so... Makes you wonder, did he box them all up? Did he put them all in storage? Are they still hanging around his house or what? It'd be interesting to know, actually, wouldn't it? It'd be very interesting to know what he has, what he's done with them and where they are. Can you imagine the 62 Strat coming up for sale? John Frusciante's 62 Strat. Or his 55, for that matter. Or his White Falcon. These iconic guitars that made iconic music for such a long period of time. Crikey. Can you imagine that? See it on Reverb tomorrow, John Frusciante's 1962 Fender Strat, or as was at the end of the Stadium Arcadium tour. Crikey. Whew. Imagine how much that'd be worth. Anyway, I wouldn't say he sold anything, but at the same time he might have. He might have given some stuff away, because he gave his backup Telecaster to Josh for when he joined the Chili Peppers. I think it was like a gift, But I'd find it hard to believe he would sell stuff like his 62 Strat, and I don't think he would have as many Jubilees and Majors as he did. I think he had like 7 Majors and like 7 Jubilees or something like that. But I don't think he'd have as many as them anymore. He might have gone, I don't need all these anymore. I'm not doing this, that, and the other. And let's be honest, it's like, if John needed something, he could find it and afford it. He's not going to struggle to find something or get something like that he needs guitar wise or amp wise or pedal wise. So I don't know. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think it's a really cool question, actually. It'd be very interesting to know what he still has and where are they, and does he still pick up his 62? I would love to know. Yeah, thinking about it now, I was initially going to answer that question. I didn't think I was going to get this excited about it, but it'd be quite cool to know, I think. It'd be quite cool to know if he's still got them and where are they and what's going on with them. And does he want to give me one of them? No, I'm joking. I don't even know the man! But anyway, yeah, it'd be cool to know, actually, I think. It'd be really cool to know. John! We need to know what you're doing with your 62 Strat. Do you still play it? Is it still around, or you don't borrow anymore? It does synthesizers now and no amps on guitars. Be very interesting to know. Very interesting to know. Cool question. I like that question. So, yeah, anyway. I hope that's answered your question, though, but I personally don't think he'd have sold anything. I think he's still got everything. Even if he doesn't play it, I reckon he's still got it somewhere in one of his many houses. And storage. And in all fairness, he's probably lent some stuff out to friends. Didn't he give a Jaguar or something to a woman from Warpaint or something? He gave his white Jaguar away. Because he gave a white Strat away, doesn't he? He gave that 60... Is it 61? The white Strat he used on the Stadium Arcadium tour, which Josh used towards the end, he gave that away to... Was it Jack Irons' son? I forget. But he gave that away. He gave that Strat away. God, I'd love to have had that. Whoa. Remember the first time I saw him playing that white Strat, he was on Top of the Pops. It was a Top of the Pops special in 2006, and they were doing new songs from Stadium Arcadium outside the BBC Centre in London. And he did Danny California. They started with something, and he had his Sunburst Strat. Or did they start with Danny California? Either way, he played Danny California on his white Strat, and I was just like, whoa. That's amazing. Because I'd only ever seen him with a white Strat once before, and that was at the Rock in Rio gig where he's off his trolley on something. But that was an amazing looking guitar, that was, and it sounded immense. And I remember when I saw him at Don Valley Stadium, he played that guitar, and oddly enough, that guitar, he used that actually quite a lot of the night, if I remember correctly. He used it for quite a lot of songs. He used it for Scar Tissue, Don't Forget Me, I Could Have Lied, Give It Away. No, Give It Away was his Sunburst. He used it for Under the Bridge, though. And he used the white Strat a lot. And I've got to say, the white Strat sounded immense live. Even compared to his 62. And I remember he didn't use his white Falcon that night. He used his Strat for Otherside and Californication. He just used his Strat, his Sunburst, 62. I don't remember seeing the 55, actually, come to think of it. And I don't remember seeing the Telecaster. I don't think he used them that night, I think he just used the white Strat and the 62. Oh no, I'll tell a lie. Throwaway television, he used these MapleNet, he used the 55 on the throwaway television. But yeah, I think he's still got most of it. So apart from certain things he give away, like his Tele-Custom and that white Strat. And I swear I heard a story, like he gave his white Jaguar away to one of the women from Warpaint. I think it was Warpaint. Could be totally wrong with that one as well. It's funny how you're so sure of something, and then when the camera goes click and turns on, you're like, I don't know anything anymore. It's quite amusing, actually. But yeah, I don't know. He's probably given a few things away. I know he's given a few things away, but I don't think the 62 Strat, the red Jaguar, the 55 Strat, the Tele-Custom, the Gretsch White Falcon, and maybe even the Black Les Paul Custom would have gone anywhere. I think out of all the guitars he was maybe going to keep, he would keep them. But saying that, something else has cropped into mind. Do they just remind him of the Chili Peppers and he wanted to distance himself from them? And did he just put them out of the way? Did he get rid of them? Or did he put them into storage? Or does he keep them? Or where are they? It's like Jimi Hendrix's Black Strat. No one knows where that is. Which is really cool because it's really nice because people have tendencies to mess with people's guitars. Like Rory Gallagher's Strat. After Rory died, they reset the guitar up and restrung it. And it's like, you shouldn't have done that. Even if the strings go absolutely manky and rusty, they shouldn't have done that. Bernie Marsden played it with the original setup and original strings. He got to play Rory's Strat. He did like a little gig. And Bernie Marsden said it was the original, Rory's strings and the action. because Rory's action was massively high, really legendary high. But they changed the action, they lowered the action and changed the strings on it, and I don't think you should have done that. Even if the strings go manky and rusty, you know, if the strings go manky and rusty, replace them, but don't alter the action. You know, don't touch it, just put new strings on it and keep those strings somewhere else, don't just bin them. And the same thing happened with Jimi Hendrix's Flying V and his white Woodstock Strat. They changed everything about it. And this is what I love about the black Strat. Monica Danneman, who was Jimi Hendrix's girlfriend when he died, kept the guitar. And I can't say that word very well because I'm not very good at pronouncing SP. She said in her will that it was always to be left alone, because some people got a chance to look at it and it still had Jimmy's strings on it, his setup on it. It was missing a screw in one of the saddles. The low E, which would have been there, the screw and the spring weren't part of it. The saddle was there, but the actual spring and screw wasn't in the guitar. But apparently it was in the case, but he didn't have it on the guitar, which is a bit weird. And it still had that purple strap that he has, the Isle of Wight, although it's kind of dyed. It's got like brown now. But no one knows where it is, and she said it was it was in her will to basically no one touches it, no one messes with it, and no one ever knows where it is, so no one can mess with it. But again, I don't know if that's true, because I heard recently that somebody had found it and were doing this and the other. And rumor has it that Uli John Roth owns it, because he went out with Monica Danneman as well. I think they were partners, and there's rumor he has that guitar. But I would love to know where it is. But at the same time, it'd be horrific if somebody got hold of that guitar. It's the last remnants of Jimi Hendrix's, how he played with his action and the way his guitars were set up. Because I personally think Jimmy's black Strat and white Strat, the Woodstock Strat and the black Strat, I think they were custom ordered from Fender. And I'll get into that in another video, because I'll be here for hours. Sorry, everybody. I've tangented this one to an absolute maximum, haven't I? But yeah, anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I think I'm going to have to end now, because I think I've just gone on a bit too long now. I'm waffling like a madman. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I hope I've answered your questions okay. I do have a feeling that some of the answers were a bit useless. And if so, I do apologise for that. I'm very, 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 very sorry. I just hope there's something you can take away from the answers I've given. And I will see you again on Friday for another video. I'm going to demo bass on Friday, so it's going to be a bit of a different video. But yeah, I really love this bass. It's a Harley Benton bass that I ordered. And I've relicked it because it was way too shiny and it just looked really... I just didn't like the look of it. And it's a Telecaster bass. So yeah, I will see you on Friday for a bass demo where you can all laugh at me playing bass. And it'll be interesting to think of an intro jam for that one. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I hope the questions have been answered okay. I hope Tangent Boy hasn't caused too much trouble for you all and too much grief. And yeah, I will see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. And I'll see you again. Goodbye now. Thank you very much.